Hey everybody, Chris 70 with 70 Investments. Hope you are all doing well today. Today I want to come on live, talk to you about our offering and some of what I would consider the uniqueness of our offering. So first, sorry, looking at my screen here back and forth. But I want to talk about what I consider the three uniques of 70 and our fund. And for anybody out there who's either looking to start up a fund or invest in a fund or, co-GP, whatever the case may be, one of the things that is extremely important is understanding what differentiates one company from the next. Because let's be honest, every company is going to say they're the best. Every company is going to say they've got, risk mitigation measures in place or whatever the case may be. We're all going to say that. And the question is, how do they implement it? And for us, this is one of the things where I like to look at some of the uniques that we have with our offering, which, for us, when we look at, our target for both, again, that accredited and non-accredited investors, which I'll talk about, that in a minute. Some of our uniques are the fact that, our whole investment structure is not about hitting the grand slams or strikeouts on every deal. We have a portfolio of assets that is not a blind pool. Investors come in now and we have a portfolio. And our goal is to, hit the proverbial singles, doubles, and triples. Once in a while, yes, we hit a home run. Once in a while, we may even, strike out. But we're consistently looking to go to the baseball analogy, make contact and get those base hits, which I believe we've been very successful at. And by doing so, it provides that, some consistency within the company. The other is, which I think allows us to get those singles and doubles and really focus on, risk adjusted portfolios, is, this is what I think is the biggest, our in-house team that provides, that high touch service. And what does that mean when someone says like your in-house team? Well, for us, we've got in-house accounting, we have an operations director, all of our asset management, acquisitions, dispositions, and management, that's managed in-house. So we're not outsourcing the management. Now we have servicing companies that handle like payment collections, which, we manage them as well as we manage other vendors. Like any company, you have to manage your vendors. But the day-to-day decisions on whether we acquire it, whether we sell it, what do we do with that asset, that is done by us internally, which gives us the ability to make quick decisions. And a perfect example is I've seen some lawsuits recently that have been out there where sponsors are suing the managers of the assets because they may make the overall decision, but they didn't really have a lot of control and they didn't like how things were going. So for us in that mortgage note space, it allows us to, have greater control. Most importantly, that in-house investor relations team that we have is so critical and crucial because we're constantly communicating with our investors. And investors have questions. They can pick up the phone, they can call us, they can email us, and they get somebody on the line who is an employee of 7E. It's not a call center that they're just taking the number down and then using a third party that manages 1,000 other investor relations departments and have to figure out, oh, which one's this with? I got to go back and ask the question to somebody. And then 3 weeks later, you get a response. For us, you get in touch with Katie or Tony or somebody else from our office. They typically know the answer. But if they don't, they are just a email, a phone call away from me or Lauren or somebody else within the company, get the answer. And typically, we like to respond very quickly to investors. So the more you can communicate and answer questions, to investors, whether it's about, the type of tax forms they're getting or what, the information on that or, what's going on with the company or, how does that investment work? That is something that we take extreme pride on, especially because we are a Regulation A offering that allows us to accept non-accredited and accredited investors with an investment of as little as $5,000. And now I'm just going to switch screens and talk a little bit more about that investment, and also kind of the bonus shares and how we go back to relating those, what our focus is. And as we mentioned, being able to have non-accredited and accredited investors, now we've got a wide pool of people who can invest, and we have over, I believe, 600 investors at this point in time. And again, those are all managed in-house. Now, if that was managed externally, do you feel like you're just a number? With 7E, we want to make you feel like you are part of our team, part of that investment. And I got on my screen now. I just wanted to share with people kind of how we break down, the offering, plus also provide bonus shares to investors within the Regulation A. So if you invest from zero up to, just under 25,000, we target a 8% return. From 25,000 and up, we give bonus shares. So what does that mean for investors? That means, so our shares are $10 a share. So 25,000, you get 2,500 shares. And then we'll give you a 4% bonus, which is we give you 100 shares. So you will be collecting distributions on those bonus shares. And then at the 4-year period, if you want to stay in the investment, you can. Or if you want to withdraw your funds, not only do you get that, 25, but your initial 2,500 shares to redeem, you can redeem also those additional 100 shares that you have. And the more you invest, the higher that goes. At $50,000, there's 5% bonus shares from that standpoint. So you get 250 bonus shares. At 100,000, it's 6%, and so forth. So also want to, as we grow the company, give the opportunity for you to participate in some of these bonus shares. So hope you found that helpful. Hope you found this video helpful as well. Just wanted to come on for a brief, 5 to 10 minutes and talk a little bit about, those uniqueness and what makes us unique. Because I think it's extremely important as, we sift through the economy, and we'll start to see the true colors of companies. And I'll just share a story that I won't name the company, but it's something that, I look at, and I like to see, okay, what did somebody do and what would I do differently? And here's a story I'll share, that there's a company out there who paused, I believe they paused their distributions. I know they paused any withdrawals. So investors, if they want to withdraw their money from the fund, they cannot. Their money is tied up. Prior to this happening, a high exec within the company came on a forum, and essentially there was an investor on there who was complaining that they've been trying since January. It's now April when I'm recording this, or being alive, just so people go back and watch the recording, that they were trying to get in touch with somebody and no one can give them an answer. And this high exec jumps on the forum and says, let me look into it, I'll take care of it, yada, yada, yada. And this was probably 2-3 weeks ago, and has since gone silent. And the person now is tagging them in the forum, message them on LinkedIn. They claim that the person blocked them on LinkedIn. They went quiet. They submitted a notification to the SEC that says, hey, we are pausing all withdrawals. And then, a few days ago, they posted a video on YouTube, highlighting their brand new 20,000 square foot office that they have, and all the bells and whistles and, all the high tech they put in there, and how one of the high executives was talking about how they felt that warm feeling inside because they got to have their own personal bathroom. Now, as a leader of a company who, I'll be honest, I'm sitting in my basement. I work out of my basement. And our team is remote that we work out of, which for us, we don't need an office space, honestly. We work fantastic remote together from coast to coast. And I see that and I look at, okay, what kind of would I do differently? So, first thing, as the leader of a company, if somebody was asking a question about, their distribution or the withdrawal, I would get them an answer. It wouldn't be, let me get back to you. I wouldn't post, let me get back to you. I would only post when I have an answer. And I would post, hey, I got an answer for you. I sent you a private message. Give me, I'll give you a call because you have their phone number. If they're an investor, you got their information. You pick up the phone and call them. Tell them what is going on. Good news or bad news. That is one thing that I, always, like to preach is good, bad, wherever news is. I want to make sure it's delivered because I have been an investor. When you get blindsided where you think something's going really well and then it all crashes, that is disheartening because people are making plans based off of the information that they have. Now, to be honest, things can crash pretty quickly for certain people. But the moment you got to get some type of message, or try and get some type of communication out there. The communication I would not do if I was in any type of liquidity crunch or all this pause is then highlight a video showing money I'm spending on a brand new office. Especially where people are talking about, hey, you got 50 employees, you got this, and I believe it's it could be a $50-100 million company, but it's all about, the image and the impression you're giving people, where people are wondering, asking the question, what's going on with my money? What's going on? And your response is, oh, we'll get somebody to get back to you. But meanwhile, you're recording a video about your brand new office space and how you're so proud that you have your own personal bathroom. Now, I'm just telling you what I see. Now, there could be a whole nother, complete side of this story, which is fine. There's typically 3 sides to every story. Their side, your side, and the truth lies somewhere in between. But it doesn't matter what your side is if you're not able to tell it to the people out there. Because the perception is investors, things don't look like they're going well, but in the meantime, you're highlighting what's going on with, your thing. Another example that I'll share is, and again, I'm sharing things that I look at as mistakes that I want to make sure that us at 7E, this is what we preach our team. Hey, we can't be like this. Is another example. We have the one fund, but I know some sponsors out there who have multiple funds where they pause distributions. Okay, that's happening a lot today because of interest rates and other things. It's not uncommon. It doesn't mean that you're going to lose everything. It doesn't mean that the person's a scam or they're a fraud. Now I'm going to use the word but. If you're not communicating that well to your investors, but you're out there on the quote unquote conference circuit speaking about, your courses or you trying to raise additional funds, while again, you're ignoring the investors in your current offering who are asking questions and want to know what's going on because they may have put $50,000 or $100,000, which I think they're owed a response. You should, communicate with them or have some type of communication with them. Now and again, why am I saying all this? Because these are things that we see and we actually point out to our team of, we can't be like this. We make sure we're not like this. This where it goes back to our uniques of, that in-house team of high touch customer service. and goes back to the core values of our company. People talk about core values, and typically there's a little blurb on the wall. For us, we really take pride in those, and one of them is ownership of being accountable for your role, your responsibility, openness and integrity and courage. And I think courage is probably, when I hear these stories, that is probably the core value that is not being exhibited. Because is it that they don't have the courage to tell people what's really going on? I don't know. But for us, I wanted to share kind of some of the highlights about our offering. Again, what makes us unique. So if you have questions, comments, leave them down below. I will get back to them. And if you want more videos like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Put questions on there. We've got lots of videos on there for people to see about what it is we do, our mission, our story. So just want to say thank you all, and enjoy and have a happy Friday.